I used to go underneath the grandstands and have a good time and play with the kids. Me and Stephen Park used to play around, but a lot of times I was just up in the grandstands just paying attention to all the races, not just, the races my dad was in, but all of them.
I remember Tommy being on the other side of the fence, not even be able to get in the pits. And then after the races, he would come and talk, and he just was always a cool kid, because most 12 or 13-year-old kids don't really want to talk about the race car, but Tommy'd come right up and start talking about wedge and tires and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've known Tommy for many years, and he's where we were at RCR several years ago, and he's a hard worker, probably one of the hardest working guys in the garage area. He never quits. He's always trying to look for that next advantage.
He's focused, he's mellow, he lets people do their job, and I give him a lot of credit for that. That's something that surprised me about him. I thought he'd be more like me and his dad both. We were yelling and screaming going 1,000 miles an hour. Tommy may be going 1,000 miles an hour, but you'd never notice it from the outside.
Having Tommy Baldwin involved in the sport, just personally, is a lot of fun, because he's entertaining, but it's also rewarding, I think, for there to be a guy in 2012 that can still pull it off and make it happen, and we're very proud of Tommy.
Tommy had certainly a lot to do with the development, and the success of Dodge. They got to remember, Tommy was the crew chief on Dodge's first real big victory, the Daytona 500, and he's very good about getting people to work together and keeping them happy. And keeping that harmony at that time, you got to remember all these different owners, all these different personalities, lots of different things going on at Dodge. Tommy was a big part of keeping that stuff rolling.
Tommy's a energetic, good, honest guy that wants to race, wants to win, wants to build a company for the future, and I think that's what NASCAR needs.
When you're competing against something like a Hendrick organization, which right now is at the top of the sport, that's 550 people and millions of dollars per car. You look at the Roush organization, with his 3 cars, and it's a huge, huge job for one man, and I think that people are sometimes amazed at how well Tommy's cars qualify and how competitive they can be at certain times.
We have our spurts every now and then that we can compete with those guys, and it feels good. We're working off a 32nd of their budget, right now, and we can run with these guys, at some places. So we know we can do it. The consistency needs to get better, but only way you're going to get consistency is find the funding to get everything in place for that.
A lot of times qualifying on Friday, I care about how the RCR cars do, but at the end of the day, I'm always just watching Tommy to see how he does. And he's got great drivers now with Dave Blaney and David Ruderman, and who'd ever thought that would have happened? But to have 2 successful drivers driving for him and racing every week, it's really hard to accomplish, and he's done a great job with it.
There's days that he goes out and outruns some of our cars, or Hendricks, or different teams, and that says a lot for a limited budget.
Every dime he gets, he puts back in the race team and takes care of his people and gets the best cars he can, the best engines. The things that really, really matter to make a race car go fast is what Tommy's priority is first, and then he takes care of the other stuff. But there's times where we'll fly to a racetrack and Tommy's guys will drive, but they got the best engine that weekend too.
We don't race shops, we race race cars, and if you're going to put your money towards something, you better hopefully be putting it towards something that the final product on the track.
I'm not going to be surprised, when Tommy Baldwin's team is at a level with Rick Hendricks or Joe Gibbs or Jack Roush's, and this business is getting tougher and tougher, getting sponsors and things like that. But I've said this, I've said it on the Sirius radio show. I've said it on ESPN. When you deal with a guy like Tommy Baldwin, you're going to get more for your dollar of sponsorship than when you deal with somebody else, because it's a smaller team and the money's going to make that car go faster.
We can take somebody's money and really show a return of investment on it, on what we're doing, how we're operating, what we need to do for them to get their money back. We're real passionate of trying to sit down and trying to figure out a business plan for them just as much as a business plan for us, because if it don't work for them, it's definitely not going to work for us in the long run.
I think he's going to be a factor. It takes time to build when you're building it like he's doing it. I did it, and it took me quite a few years before I ever got the break I needed with a driver like Dale Earnhardt.
Most of the people in the sport, in the grandstands, other competitors are pulling for Tommy Baldwin, and I just don't know how that could be better money spent, because you're not just investing in the advertising, you're investing in what the American success story is supposed to be about.